Okay, get ready, because we are diving headfirst back into the absolutely wild, um, dramatic, and secret-stuffed world of Ginny and Georgia.
Hmm.
The newest season just landed, and it threw us immediately into the thick of it, picking up right after that, jaw-dropping wedding cliffhanger.
It really did. It was certainly a season that wasted no time delivering on the promise of consequences, building directly from that explosive finale.
Absolutely. So for this deep dive, we've taken the stack of articles, the research, the notes you shared with us, all laser focused on the recently released season 3, and we're also going to peek ahead at the confirmed season 4.
Yeah, our mission today is to really unpack the major events that define season 3, especially the central murder trial and the chaotic way it wrapped up, and then shift gears to cover everything the source material tells us and teases about what's coming in season 4.
Exactly. Consider this your essential briefing. This is what the sources are saying you need to know. Okay, let's unpack this. So at its core, we know Ginny and Georgia is anchored by the relationship between this mother-daughter duo, Georgia and Ginny, along with Ginny's younger brother, Austin. They've relocated to the seemingly perfect, wealthy town of Wellsbury.
Right. And what drives so much of the tension is Georgia's history. She's fiercely protective of her kids, but her methods often cross legal and moral lines, all stemming from a really difficult past she's constantly trying to outrun.
Yeah.
Ginny, meanwhile, is grappling with adolescence,
Yeah.
figuring out her identity, her mental health, and unfortunately, discovering the depth of her mother's secrets.
Which is exactly where season 2 left us hanging. That wedding shocker, Georgia finally marrying Wellsbury's mayor, Paul Randolph, only to be arrested right there on the spot for murder.
Yep.
The victim, of course, being Tom Fuller, her neighbor Cynthia Fuller's terminally ill husband.
And based on the material we reviewed, that arrest was the absolute perfect springboard for season 3. The notes confirm that season 3, which hit Netflix on Thursday, June 5th, 2025, specifically at 12:00 a.m. PT 3.00080, it was structured to put Georgia's legal battle front and center and explore its ripple effects across the entire Miller family.
So, the burning question going into the season, the one everyone wanted answered, does Georgia get found guilty? Is she finally going to jail for something?
And the trial became the undeniable, dramatic backbone of the season. We see private investigator Gabriel Cordova, who's been digging into Georgia's past, playing a pretty significant role in how things unfold, providing that external pressure.
And okay, let's just get straight to the point that the sources confirm. Did Georgia kill Tom Fuller?
Yes.
Yes, the material is clear. Georgia did kill Tom Fuller. We saw it at the end of season 2. She smothered him with a pillow.
Right. And from Georgia's stated perspective, this is crucial to understanding her, the sources indicate her motive was framed by her as an act of mercy.
A mercy killing.
Yeah, she believed she was freeing Cynthia from Tom's suffering and the crushing weight of his medical bills. It's presented as this twisted, tragic parallel to how she's dealt with perceived problems or problematic figures in her past.
By removing them.
By removing them. Exactly.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting and frankly heartbreaking. The sources confirm that Austin, sweet Austin,
Oh, yeah.
shockingly witnessed the whole thing from inside a closet.
His trauma from that moment is just immense.
Yeah.
And it becomes absolutely pivotal during the trial because when the verdict comes back, it's not guilty.
A not guilty verdict, which seems wild, right? But the sources make it abundantly clear how that verdict was achieved, and it rests squarely on the actions of Ginny and Austin.
Yeah, Ginny, in a move that really echoes her mother, essentially manipulates Austin into committing perjury.
Perjury. Wow.
He testifies to the jury that his biological father, Gil Timmons, was the one responsible.
Oh my gosh.
And the material highlights Ginny's other sort of strategic move. She uses her knowledge of Cynthia's affair with Joe.
Yes.
Yes, Joe for the Blue Farm Cafe.
Yeah.
Was subtly pressure Cynthia. The implication that she knows about the affair gives Cynthia a powerful reason to either not testify against Georgia or, the sources suggest, even speak favorably towards her.
So the huge takeaway here, according to the sources, isn't just the legal outcome. It's that while legally found not guilty by a jury, thanks entirely to her children's forced actions.
The sources make it very clear that Georgia is morally guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And critically, that truth is now known, not just to the audience, which we knew in season 2, but to many characters within Wellsbury now.
Right.
The show creators, according to the material, specifically focused season 3 less on the plot twist of if she get caught for this one murder, and more on the profound emotional truth and the consequences that ripple through this family because of what happened and what the kids did.
That's a really fascinating distinction the sources draw. It shifts the focus from, like, a simple crime procedural to the deep psychological cost and relational damage within the family.
Exactly. And outside of the courtroom drama, Season 3 explores several other crucial character developments and continuing story threads based on the source material.
Like the complex relationship between Ginny and Marcus. Their connection continues to be a major emotional anchor for the show, right?
Absolutely. The sources note Marcus's ongoing struggles with mental health and Ginny's continued journey of growth, particularly in exploring her biracial identity.
Yeah.
Anthony Gentry's portrayal in this regard continues to receive praise, according to the notes we saw.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
And one of the most surprising reveals this season, based on the sources, was Georgia's pregnancy.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, she's expecting her third child, and the mystery of the father's identity is presented as a major new question mark. The notes point to Paul Randolph and Joe as the prime candidates.
Call her Joe. Wow.
Brian Howie, who plays Georgia, has even been quoted teasing that it's complicated, according to the material.
Talk about adding another layer of chaos. And you mentioned Austin earlier, witnessing that murder and then being manipulated into lying about it. The sources emphasize the significant trauma this inflicts on him.
Oh, definitely. His character arc is specifically expected to delve into some really heavy situations as a direct result of this experience. It's a lot for a kid.
A huge weight. The sources also mention the introduction of new characters, like Wolf from Ginny's poetry class, hinting at potential new romantic dynamics for her.
Yeah. And of course, the AM friend group, Max and Abby, continued navigating their own dramatic storylines, providing that essential teenage chaos backdrop, keeping things grounded in that high school world, too.
Right, right. So season 3 successfully concluded the trial, but left us with a morally complex Georgia, a new mystery surrounding her pregnancy, profoundly impacted kids, and relationships still very much in flux. What does the material tell us about where all this leads in the future?
Well, the excellent news, confirmed by the sources, is that Season 4 is definitely happening. Netflix actually gave the green light for both Seasons 3 and 4 way back in May 2023.
Oh, that's right. I remember that announcement.
Yeah, so the material highlights that this gave the creative team considerable time to plan and develop the storylines across 2 seasons, which is, a huge advantage for a show this intricate.
That kind of foresight is invaluable for a show with so many interconnected threads. Now, as of right now, June 8th, 2025, there's no official release date for Season 4, is there?
No, not yet. But the sources do provide some key timeline clues. The writer's room for Season 4 started working in February 2025.
Okay, so they're already cooking.
They are. And Brian Howie has mentioned, according to the notes, that filming is slated to begin later this year, meaning later in 2025.
Okay, so based on the typical production gaps between seasons, that suggests a potential release sometime in late 2026 or possibly even early 2027.
That seems like a reasonable estimate, yeah. It's a bit of a wait, but knowing the engines are running is huge.
Definitely.
And we have a confirmed official theme for Season 4, straight from the sources. Cycles and Origins.
Ooh, cycles and origins. Interesting.
What this theme strongly suggests, and the material supports, is a deeper dive into Georgia's past, exploring her family history, and likely examining those generational patterns she's desperately trying to avoid for her own children.
But which she often seems destined to repeat. Right.
Exactly. It feels incredibly fitting given the events of Season 3. And the sources give us some really juicy teases about specific plot points we can anticipate in Season 4.
Okay, spill it. What are we looking at?
Absolutely. The most immediate mystery that needs resolving, based on the material, is the reveal of Georgia's baby's father.
Gotta know. Paul or Joe?
That's going to be a major plot point early on, you'd think. And the fallout for Ginny and Austin from their actions in the trial is going to be immense. This is a key insight the sources highlight, the consequences of their perjury.
Yeah, they can't just go away.
No way. There's a specific tease mentioned about Ginny fully turning into Georgia, but with her own distinct twist described in the material as cultured, badass, and ready to protect her family after spending a summer with her father, Zion.
Wow. Ginny's stepping up in that way.
That character evolution for Ginny stepping into that protective role is going to be fascinating to watch. And for Georgia herself, get this, the sources confirm, she will finally, astonishingly, begin therapy.
No.
Yeah.
Really? Georgia in therapy?
Therapy? Can you believe it?
Wow. That is a massive character development. After everything she's been through, the idea of Georgia actually acknowledging a need for external help and reflection is a huge shift, according to the material.
It really is. And just when you might think things are stabilizing, The sources indicate that the Season 3 finale deliberately teased new threats emerging from George's past,
Of course.
suggesting they will play a significant role in Season 4.
Right. There was that ominous phone call from her incarcerated father, warning her that if he could find her, anyone could. And then her mother and stepfather driving past her house. The material points to these moments as clear signals that figures from her history are absolutely coming back into the picture, bringing more complications.
Definitely setting up some major conflict there. And with the core main cast members expected to return,
Yeah.
bringing these deeply complex characters and their relationships back to the screen.
The sources promise that the stakes are going to be higher than ever in Season 4. So you can anticipate more heartbreak, opportunities for redemption, and this wouldn't be Ginny and Georgia without it, plenty of chaos.
Always chaos.
So we've really journeyed through the intense drama of Season 3, looking at the legal dance around Georgia's moral guilt and how that profoundly impacted her children, forcing them into these really difficult choices. We've seen relationships evolve under immense pressure and new mysteries emerge, like the father of Georgia's next child.
And based on the sources, looking ahead to Season 4 with its official theme of cycles and origins, we know we're heading for a deeper exploration of where Georgia comes from and the very real lingering threats her past holds.
Yeah.
All while watching Ginny and Austin grapple with the significant consequences of their loyalty and actions in the trial.
Understanding these dynamics, the tension between legal outcomes and moral truth, the personal cost of protection, and the incredibly complex choices these characters are forced to make. That's what makes this show so compelling, according to the material we dove into.
It truly highlights the messy, complicated reality of family bonds and the lengths people will go to under extreme pressure. And that theme of cycles and origins. It raises an important question for you to consider as you look ahead to Season 4.
Okay.
Given the tease that Ginny is turning into Georgia, can Ginny truly embody her mother's fierce protectiveness and that badass nature she needs to protect her family without inevitably repeating her mother's most destructive, harmful mistakes?
Ooh, that's a good question. Can she find a different path? So what does this all mean? It means the past is never truly past in Wellsbury for the Miller family, and their complicated, chaotic journey is absolutely far from over.